Welcome to another episode of Get Real. I'm your host, Tom Lemons, here with Judy and Eddie Ptarcinski. Now, I'm sure a lot of people in the county, here in Hernando County, recognize that name. I'm going to give you a little background on why we're going to be talking to them today. And also joined here by Jay Fernandez, our producer slash co-host.
Good to be here.
All right. Well, no, we're on a serious topic today, and I'm sure a lot of you saw my prelude that I published about a week ago regarding the homicide involving Ariana Ptarcinski here in Spring Hill. There is a lot of, we want to dig into this deep because we've covered this a lot on Rnews.news, several stories. There's just so many questions that need to be answered involving this case, and I know that most of the community, when they read my stories, or the stories that's been done by other media, even across the country, have covered this story, and it seems that this family just needs answers, and not just answers. Someone needs to be held accountable, and that person we're going to talk about today. So, let me give you a little background before I formally introduce you to Eddie and Judy. Christmas Eve, 2021, their daughter, 18-year-old Ariana, beautiful young daughter, just starting her life out. It's really kind of tough for me to even talk about this because it's so painful, and I'm sure that this family has been grieving for years, but her life was taken way too soon. And at the hands of, allegedly, of course, we can't say it as an affirmation right now, but at the hands of Ramon Calderon Durst, 20-year-old. That was her boyfriend. In their home here in Spring Hill. Now, something as simple as that, and again, we've shown the video. You can go back to the Rnews.news website and watch videos that we've posted. You can see the interrogation. You can see as he's sitting in the back seat of a patrol car, admitting to committing the crime. He sits there with a bloody shirt. He talks about how, the world is going to come down on him, how embarrassing it is that he took someone's life. What federal prison is he going to go to? He's asking all these questions, admitting to the crime. No one doubts that. No one doubts that this man took the life of Ariana. And so you would expect the investigation would lead to an arrest, very simply, easily. This is a black and white, opening shut case. And yet, it's 2025, and nothing has been done. As a matter of fact, we're going to show you some of the video of the interrogation. Well, we'll call it an interrogation, where the suspect, Mr. Durst, is shocked that he's not going to be arrested. That the detective says, we're going to let you go. We're not going to charge you. And years have gone by, and this family has not seen justice for their daughter. Ariana was stabbed in the neck allegedly by her boyfriend. She died here in her home. And this person has not been held accountable. So I want to introduce them now. Eddie, yes. Judy. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
So what I want to do is just let you guys tell me in your own words so that our viewers can hear from you, what happened that night. Give us kind of a background on what happened.
Well, he actually went to her cousin's to eat dinner, Christmas dinner. Everything was great. Come back around 10:30 or so. Exchanged gifts. Everything was great still. My wife took pictures of them. Everything's still fine. I did some stuff in the garage. My wife went into the room to go to sleep. I went into the room to change my clothes, and the worst. I can't even explain it. My daughter, I hear, Eddie, I effed up. And I think it's a joke. I come out, and he's got my daughter by the neck, but she's bleeding out of her mouth, and her eyes are like, Dad, help me. You know, you can't do anything. It's a horrible feeling. But anyway, to get him away from the family, I put the girls in the room, got him away from the family, called 911. Couldn't stay on the phone with him because I had to keep him at bay. Kept him outside. My youngest, Isabella, was at my hip, trying to stop me. And my neighbor, we're outside and we're arguing, and my neighbor comes by and hears him say all this. I screwed up, I effed up, I'm gonna go to jail for the rest of my life. And he actually punches him in the face because he was on something. He was on drugs, he was drunk, whatever it wasn't him. My neighbor actually broke his hand on his face, didn't faze him. I come back inside to see how the girls are doing, and my wife's got Ariana trying to stop the blood because there's blood everywhere. It was horrible. Go back outside because Ramon came back in the house. He tries slitting his own throat because now he knows it's over for him. I go back outside to see if the ambulance is there, which they were here, but they were staged outside for 15, 20 minutes.
By the gate.
By the gate, yeah.
So it took a while to get in here.
About 20, 25 minutes. It actually took them. Krev says that they were here in 3 minutes, which they were, but they were staged. They were here in 3 minutes, but they were not at this house. No.
So she didn't pass away here. She actually was in the hospital when she passed away.
What happened was she actually she lost so much blood that she cardiac arrest.
Okay.
So they tried bringing her back for, I think it was like 50 minutes, which they brought her back, and not enough oxygen. She's brain dead.
Okay.
She's brain dead. So we had to pull the plug.
But just so people know that the fire rescue typically stages when there's a crime scene like
Absolutely,
that.
make sure,
Yeah, and that's a long time though.
Yeah,
That's a long time to stage.
It was when they came in the house. It was just it was. First of all, I've never been through anything like that. But when you're begging these guys to help you, you think that they're going to help you, but I'm at gunpoint. And then we get thrown in cars, and we're all separated. You don't want the thing you want is be with your family. That's what you need. And we didn't even know what was happening with our daughter.
Why don't you tell them how many
cops had to be
were on top of you? Yeah.
4 officers on top of me. I'm at gunpoint at my head, crying, hysterical, just saying, help my daughter, but no one listens to you.
Did they assume that you had something to do with this?
Absolutely. They must have.
Not the kid with the blood all over his shirt.
Yeah. It's and the thing is they hear him in the background saying, I screwed up,
Yeah.
911 call. But you try to explain to these guys, and no one wants to hear you. Your daughter's bleeding out.
So they treated you more like the criminal than they did the guy.
Oh yeah, and they got so tired of me saying, help my daughter, get him out of here, put me in the car, and then they lock you in the car.
Well, wait a minute, but wasn't there? You were trying to.
She was trying to stop the bleeding.
Stop the bleeding,
Right.
yes, with your daughter, and they took you away and left her there.
They left our
Can
daughter.
you tell us about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I tried to run back into the house after they pulled me off of her. And that's when one of the police officers grabbed me and threw me to the ground.
Like literally body slammed her.
Yeah, which I have pictures of bruises to prove it. A lot of the neighbors were out. A lot of the neighbors saw that. They wrote statements, notarized statements about what they saw, and
they still say it never happened.
Yeah, they told my husband it was the seatbelt that
in the back
did
of the car.
The bruises to me.
Yeah, because she was drunk, which is
of course
that's what they try to blame her. It's Christmas Eve. First of all, it was like, and she was in the car for 7.5 hours.
Yeah, I sat in the car for 7.5 hours, kept begging them to let me use the bathroom, and they would not let me. I had to relieve myself in the back of the patrol car. I had no choice.
It's and these guys, when you're a detective, you're supposed to be part of the elite. You see what's going on. You see who's who. At least I would think so. But these guys, if you even look at him in the back of the police car, he falls over, pick him back up.
Yeah.
They
treated him so well.
I'm in handcuffs, and I'm like, hey, listen, they're tight. Can you listen? Nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody gives you an answer. Your daughter what you just saw, and no one. you're not. Hey, sir, walk right by you. Right by you. No one gives you answers to anything. I don't know where my wife is, my daughter, what's going on with my other daughter.
Yeah, where's your other daughter?
I saw them take her out on the gurney that fast. But the crazy thing is, I'm down at the police station and Wilson says, "Oh, I got good news." I'm like, "What's good news?" He goes, "Your daughter made it through surgery." I'm thinking to myself, it's 6:30 in the morning. You're telling me now she made it through surgery? We have no idea what's going on. No one even, he's like, "Yeah, she made it through surgery." I was like, "Why aren't we at the hospital with her? Like, why am I here?" He's like, "Well, I need statements and we'll stay here all day." I don't want. What do you want to give somebody?
Would you not want to be with your daughter?
Absolutely.
I tried. You could do this all day. The last thing I want to do is stay here. You guys understand what I just went through? You have no idea. And the last thing I would do is have a little statement. And even the little statements that you do make, I mean, it's your mind. It's like a tunnel, man. Like you hear everything, but you don't. It's just, it's absolutely. I've never been but everybody's talking. You just don't know what's going on, honestly. And these guys want statements. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you had a.
I wrote a statement like 3 sentences. They're like, "That's it." I'm like, I don't know what you guys. I don't even want to be here.
What do they still think that you might be the suspect?
Then you get the forensics that come in, and I'm like, "You guys think I did this?" They're like, no, this is just protocol. This is just. And I'm like, "Man, this is crazy." And then I'm like, they take all my clothes. I'm in my underwear, and I got blood on the underwear, and they're like, "Yeah, we need those too." I'm like, well, can you call a family member to get you clothes? I'm like, I guess. I mean,
to me, where's the common sense, right?
Did the alleged suspect ever make a statement? Does he have a statement?
We're going to get to that, Jake.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, I just wondering because they're asking you guys for statements. From what I've saw on that video or everything there, they're not.
No.
They're like, peace.
They even
took all his clothes.
They gave him a little jumpsuit and everything.
But they gave him something to wear.
Like you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
When I was in the back of the police car, I get, "Hey, Ramon." I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm not Ramon. I'm Isabel. I'm Ariana's father." And they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry. So 10 minutes they go back. Three guys come back again. "Hey, Ramon." I said, "Hey, man, I'm not Ramon, man. What is your problem?"
Stop calling me Ramon.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Third time, I was like, "What the F is your problem?" Whoa, why are you getting so? Are you guys kidding me right now? What is wrong with you guys, man? Like, what is going on here?
This seems so sloppy. Everything.
It's the whole
very
unprofessional, very sloppy. Nobody answers your question, and it wasn't like. I mean, like I said, our daughter was just stabbed in the neck, and you don't know what's going on with her. You have no idea where your other daughter is, your wife is. Nobody gives you answers. It was just.
I don't. Because we're on a time frame. Do you have any idea why it went from that, like a loving seems like situation here on Christmas Eve to all of a sudden stabbing her in the neck? That seems like a very dramatic thing.
I personally think that it was either drugs.
Okay,
That's why I said maybe there could have been something in his wallet. His wallet was left in the house. They didn't take that. But he had empty bottles of liquor in his book bag. Now, some people have an episode when they snap. I think he had, because he wasn't, even the neighbor who says it, he wasn't the same. Something was going on.
Oh, he sounded like he was into something.
He was just like
something.
Yeah. He definitely was, and it's and the whole time it seems blame the victim.
But he wasn't blacked out, obviously. So I mean, sometimes people use that as like, oh, I was blacked out. Obviously, he knows what happened. He was in the back of the car telling what happened, covered in blood. So he wasn't that messed up.
No. But his eyes, like at first, like he was like when the neighbor came by, like even when the neighbor hit him and everything, he just was like. Not there,
like he didn't even know what happened.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's crazy. And then they want to sit here, and then the whole time they want to blame her. Oh, well, we've seen this. Your daughter, maybe your daughter wanted to die. And this is what they're saying to us. Maybe it was just suicide.
Oh yeah.
Can I ask just one more thing?
Please.
Do they have a violent history? These two.
No.
Yes, that's okay. So they've never really had this before. That's even stranger. All right, go ahead.
Matter of
fact, they were a young couple.
Matter of fact,
fighting.
Kraft said he said, well, we went through your daughter's phone, and we had the good thing is she didn't want to die.
Yeah.
No, she didn't.
No, yeah,
because they
that's
tried
terrible.
saying our daughter, she's a very good artist, but she likes to draw very.
Macabre.
Like
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, and they kind of like held it against her. Like Kraft goes, if this goes to court, it's not going to help your daughter's case because of the way, the one picture that she drew was a girl with a sliced neck, and that's how your daughter. I was like, what are you getting?
Which
at?
was drawn.
Somewhat case closed because of that.
But that
more
was
of a
drawn
coincidence, probably.
like 3 years ago.
Yeah, that was
She
like
drew that.
It wasn't like she just drew it, but and they tried saying it was a Romeo and Juliet thing, and then he tried saying, it was always is your daughter on medicine? Maybe your daughter's on because it was always they never did toxicology.
Maybe she was depressed.
Yeah, they did toxicology on her. They didn't do toxicology on him. It was always like blame the victim.
They did not do toxicology on him.
No.
Nope.
And
why? Why? Clearly, he's on something in the back of that
Exactly.
patrol car.
Exactly.
Why not? Because that could have been a factor
Absolutely,
in
100%.
why he did
That's
what he did.
how
100%.
sloppy their work was that
It
night.
was just like I said. They came in and they just it was like a free for all for them. No, really, they came in and they just. It was like a game to them. It was like laughing and it was absolutely ridiculous.
So a few things occurred at the onset of the investigation. Right now, some time went by. A few questions here. First of all, did Sheriff Al Ninheis ever reach out to you and say, "I'm really sorry for your loss"? Did he come out and
Never.
Did he do a video? Did he do any kind of cover?
Nothing.
Tell us.
He did absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, I actually emailed him twice to talk about his department, saying how we were treated and this and that. And I got an email saying I can't discuss it. It's an ongoing investigation. That's all we got from everyone. And that's all we got, and that was just that. There was no fight. There was no ask. Nobody to ask. Nobody to do anything. That you had to take it.
Well, first of all, they told us not to speak to anyone, not to put this on social media, don't talk about the case, keep it hush hush. And they said to us, if you do talk about it, you guys could ruin this case.
You don't want to ruin your daughter's case because that's going to be a hard thing on your head. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
That's
How
what
long
they
did you
said
guys
to
do
us.
that for? How long did you not
at
say
least
anything?
a year and a half.
A year and a half, we
Yeah.
stayed
Year and a
quiet.
half.
Yep.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, that was actually when Isabella, when she came crying to you, that she thought that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Year and a half, we stayed quiet, didn't say anything. We got tired of sitting, no one calling us, no one sending letters, nothing. We got nothing from them. So that's when we started talking about the case.
Yeah, and that's when they.
We knew, I didn't know anything about the case either because until people started reaching out, Tom, will you
Yeah.
please contact that family
Yep.
and do stories on it? And then I went to your celebration of life.
Right, right.
And that was incredible. It was goosebumps on that one. But yeah, that was an amazing, beautiful thing that you did for your daughter. It was her 20th birthday. Is that right? Would have been her 20th?
No, that was her 19th.
Her
That was her
19th.
19th. Yeah,
Okay.
that was
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll show some
Yeah.
video of that. That was beautiful. But yeah, so moving forward, did they? The autopsy report came out.
Yeah, we were actually.
You were told that. Just tell us what they told you.
We were told, well, depending on what the autopsy says, we know if we can get him or not. So when we got the autopsy back, her death certificate, I'm sorry, we started crying because it said clearly on her death certificate, it says homicide done by other or others, clearly. And we called up Kraft and says, hey, listen, you can go get him. And he's like, for what? I'm like, what do you mean for what? It says homicide. He goes, yeah, but there's a lot of things going on here. And that's when he brought up, your daughter's toxicology. You got to see what's going on with that. And see if that comes out clear. And it did, because she doesn't do drugs, she doesn't drink or anything, and that went by too. Even when our daughter did pass, we were told that, well, you don't want to go we want to get the maximum charge, so we're going to go with the murder charge because your daughter's in a bad place and she's not going to make it, so we're going to go for the murder charge. That came and went. And then when you ask them, say, hey guys, listen, man, they come down your throat like there's no tomorrow. Like, it's our fault, everything, you know what I mean? We don't have to talk to you. We don't have to give you any information. And we're like, we're the parents, man. You guys tell us one thing, and because you're lying to us. We're just
Detective Kraft was the one that was going back and forth with me. And I would call him. He wouldn't call me back for days. Then I would text him.
He
And
got COVID 3 times.
well, that was his excuse. And he said to me, I don't have to tell you anything about my life. He goes, but I had COVID again. And I said, well, you could have texted me and told me that. But he spoke to me so nasty.
Yeah, he that's when I gave him a little text back and I never heard from him again. But I mean, because I would never speak to anyone like that. Like, you don't speak to somebody's wife like that, especially when you're in the position you're in. If anything, you're
Supposed to have sympathy.
absolutely
This is textbook second-degree murder.
I'm not looking for
Textbook second-degree murder.
And the thing
that
is, we're
case
not
right
looking
there.
for
That's it.
like a sob story. We're looking for somebody to feel bad, but he was
Want
just
justice.
Exactly,
Justice.
want justice. And you know what? He had no intention of he. Like I said, he said, I've seen this a million times, it's suicide. And he went by that and they rolled with that and they rolled with that. And then the autopsy came back, homicide and all this stuff. And they were like, dumbfounded. Like, that's exactly what happened.
No, wait a minute. They kept telling you. They tried to keep pushing the narrative that your daughter committed suicide,
Yes.
right? Why?
yes.
Because of some picture she drew? Tell us about that.
Drawings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of drawings that she drew. that it doesn't look good for her case because they're very morbid and this. And I said, listen, that has nothing to do with her daughter. She did not want to commit suicide. I mean, she did not commit suicide. She didn't want to have any kind of death sentence.
She was
that night.
happy.
She was very happy.
She's an honor student going to college and everything. Right?
Absolutely.
She's a
She
bright
just
girl.
got her first job, got her license for 4 days. She was
She had
happy.
her
She was going to be
license,
somebody.
yes.
She was going to be somebody, and she was robbed of her life.
She wasn't reclusive. She wasn't depressed, like
No.
staying in the room,
She
wouldn't
was
come out of her
not-
room.
She was a quiet girl, but
Yeah.
that was just her, though. And she was very happy with that. She was always,
Yeah, people suck.
absolutely, that's exactly what she said. She told, she said, it's like more friends, more problems. That was her. And it's true.
And Ramon was her first boyfriend.
And that bothers me because she put all his trust in it, like everything, and then something, and
Now, what's his background, just real quickly on this kid? Where's he come from? What's his story?
He was born in Spain.
Okay.
He moved
He has double,
to Unite. He has
double-
dual
dual
citizenship.
citizenship.
Okay,
So we
citizenship.
thought that he would end up leaving to Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And Detective Kraft said, I mentioned that to Detective
Mm-hmm.
Kraft. He said, "Oh, don't worry. We have our ways to bring him back to the United
He
States
can
and
go
charge
anywhere
him."
he wants.
Yeah. So I guess he doesn't have much contact with his father. His mom is here in Florida and his grandmother.
Okay.
as a matter of fact, the night it happened, his mother and his grandmother were coming for Christmas dinner.
Yes, they were supposed to be
Yeah, this
here.
is a weird. This is a whole. This
For
is
Christmas
strange.
Day.
Where this
I mean,
anger
even-
came
my
with
wife
this
even
race.
got
You're about to meet the family.
Something's
No,
going
we
weird
met the
on
mother,
it.
but we didn't meet the grandmother. But my wife even bought the mother a bottle of wine, like for Christmas, like just
We bought gifts for them.
yeah. And then like
It's there. All right. How long were they dating?
9 months, about
Okay,
9 months.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
About 9
Did you
months.
ever sense that there was something a little off from this kid, or do you think it was just because he was from Spain?
I'll be honest. He made our daughter really. She always smiled.
She was so happy with
She was
him.
happy.
You would know if something was wrong with your daughter. Like what's you could see her face, but she had a glow to her. She was happy.
good.
She was happy. That's the thing. And he treated her good from what we saw. But I mean, something happened.
Something snapped in him
Yeah.
that night, for
Right,
sure.
Right. And like I said, there's several degrees of homicide, right? Murder, right?
There's
It could be
seconds.
first, second, third. It could be
They even have,
involuntary
like, mens
manslaughter.
rea-
It could be
mens
something
rea-
like that.
mens
right.
rea, they-
but,
that.
but there needs to be some accountability
Absolutely.
for
It's not
someone who
it doesn't
takes
say-
a
It
life.
wasn't planned. There was some sort of
Exactly.
incident. So that's
Exactly.
second or manslaughter. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Something.
You know,
happened.
even
Right.
if you have an argument, you don't stab anybody. You know what I mean? That doesn't
Correct.
justify anything. Like I said, if I was in a car accident with my wife and I was drinking, guess what? Who's going to be accountable for that? I am. But I didn't mean to do it, but it happened. And it's just for no charges and to walk free and be, walk down the street.
He
and-
gets to go on with his life and do this to somebody else's daughter.
And the crazy thing is, when we were all at the police station that night, they actually brought him back to the home to get his car keys.
They treated him
Even
like
when-
gold.
I've never-
They did.
When that video, when they showed him in the interrogation room, when the guy comes, he's like, "Well, you're going home." He's like,
like,
"What do you
"What?"
mean?" I'm just looking at him like,
He goes-
"That's never happened to me. I've been in some trouble." And I'm like,
I couldn't.
"That's crazy."
All right. Took the handcuffs off you? All right, listen, we're gonna get you out of here. We looked into the case a little bit further, and we're not charging you with anything. What? We're not gonna charge you anything right now.
Now, I could not even believe that. And then I got upset because Detective Kraft was giving him information about her daughter. You have no right to give information to our daughter, to this kid. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or to anyone at that matter. That's
right.
And this is the same guy that actually 2 days, when he calls up, he's lead detective and says, "Hey, I'm lead detective, Eddie. Nice to meet you, but how's Ariana doing?" Excuse me? She's been dead for 2 days, man.
Where have you been?
What's going on?
This guy, it's like he wasn't even in
Let me tell you
tune
something.
with what's going on.
If
It's
I
like-
was that detective, I would have said, "Guys, I just royally screwed this up. Somebody take this over right now."
Okay, I want to take just a moment to thank our sponsor, Tri-Peak Roofing, your Hernando County roofer. Get in touch with them if you need a new roof. Back to this unbelievable tragedy and what's going on with this case. First of all, Detective Kraft. You mentioned him. He was the lead detective in your case. It seems to be that he just dropped the ball on this. He's really botched this case. Or, and again, like I said in my prelude video, that he was indirectly or directly, somebody messed up.
Yep.
But he's the one in charge, right? So
Right.
tell me a little bit about what you think about Detective Kraft.
It's a sore subject, but I don't have anything good to say about the man. Personally, he was very unprofessional. Did not keep in contact with us. He would have known more about the case if he would have been at my daughter's Autopsy. But instead of pointing fingers and not knowing, just pulling him out of the air, he would have had, the coroner would have told him exactly what happened instead of him. Like I said, it was always her fault, or blaming her, kind of blaming the victim. But he never kept in contact with us at all. Judy kept in contact with him, but he was very nasty, rude. There was a time where Judy wanted Ariana's jewelry back, and it was I don't know if I can get it in evidence, and they're like, just give it back to her. What evidence is the ring and a necklace? Come on, man. And it took a couple weeks for that, and then he just says, our business is done here.
Yeah, he texted me, you have the jewelry, our business is now done.
Yeah, like
And
our daughter's
I
business.
saved that text.
That was our world, man.
Your
It
business is done.
Our business is done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's completed what he needs to do.
Yeah, it's you know what I mean. And you feel helpless, man, because you figure who do you go to? And these guys are acting like this, and they can they could do what they want, when they want, and how they want, and no one says a word to them.
Well, you know what I remember is that once the media, so they closed the case, and then once the media, i.e. Rnews and others, began reporting on it again, we're going to open the case again, right?
Right.
Yep.
So, and now the case is still open, right?
It was closed though before, right?
It closed and opened. Now it's open again.
But it's
Yeah.
open. It's only open on the sheriff's side, not open on the
Right.
DA. The DA closed it. The
Yeah.
DA is done with it.
What was their reason for? What'd they say? It's just.
I have the letter. Actually, we have a letter. It's in there.
Okay, so I have that. I have that. I wanna
Yes,
look
you
at-
do. But they actually did not give it. This is not the sheriff. It's not the sheriff's department. They did all they can. They got all the evidence. This is just really didn't give us. There's no answer. No answer.
Okay,
No
that's
answer.
and there is
Well,
no
I'll
answer.
tell you what my opinion is on why they closed the case and why they opened the case again. Does it make sense to you? Here's why it makes sense. Because it means that the media or anyone can no longer request information
Right.
about the case
Correct.
or
Correct.
ask for comments or quotes, or they can't talk about it anymore.
Yeah, you have that email, right?
I've got an email. Oh, wait till you see this. So this is interesting, and this is just a new development just recently. This was actually this is the 17th, just back on the 17th. And just by chance, because I when I talked to Eddie and Judy, I said, would you mind coming on my podcast and talking about the case? And when they said yes, I decided to contact the sheriff's office and say, hey, can you give me anything new involving the case? So let me read that email to you real quick, and we'll put that up on the screen. But I said, I will be interviewing Judy and Eddie Ptarcinski next week regarding the murder of their daughter, Ariana. Can you please tell me if the case is still open or if it has been closed? If it is closed, well, I said, please provide the latest version of the full report. If, and that's important, if it includes new evidence or information. Well,
Tom, let me stop you right there. You want to
yeah.
hear something about
Oh,
evidence?
yes, and you've got another
I was over
interesting
here
fact
today.
over here.
I have the guy's wallet right here with his ID. Don't you think that should be in the evidence box? This guy's wallet. They left that here this entire
left it.
time. This guy's ID.
Why don't they want that?
Look at that.
Let me look at that. I mean, what if there was something in that
Correct.
wallet, maybe some drugs
That's
or something?
what my whole point was. I said, how do you guys know there wasn't anything that you can't say there wasn't because you don't know, you don't have it. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's just that was my biggest thing. But
And the fact that they drove him to our house.
a crime scene to get his car
To
keys
the crime scene.
so he
to-
can get home.
To get his keys that were in my daughter's room.
Do you feel like they treated him like gold?
Royalty.
I mean,
Never
was
heard
he
of that.
treated
I've
better
never
than
heard of
you
that.
guys?
Listen,
Yeah.
a crime scene is a crime. You don't
never
go
heard
back
of it.
in there. The
No.
crime scene is a crime scene. That's it. You don't go back. I mean, our house was taped off. You know.
My first theory, what I do after you told me the background of this kid, because the only other thing that I always think was a theory is that this kid's like a detective's son or something. That's the way it kind of looked to me, because
Yeah.
I'm looking like this guy's protected from somewhere up above. But after this story, we know that's not true. This
No.
kid's,
No.
okay.
He's not.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with him. It has
Because
to
that's
do-
what most people are going to assume.
Yeah, this has to do with, unfortunately, listen, I wish I wasn't on this side. I wish I was saying, hey, thanks for Hernando County. They did, you know what I mean? I don't, but they did not. They did not do their job. They did not even remotely close to their job. They don't care about our daughter because it's not even about opening the case for our daughter now anymore, because the case will never be opened again because of the fact that they're hiding behind our daughter's case. That's the whole thing. That bothers me too, because there's nothing you can do about it.
They left a lot of evidence behind.
You know,
We called them and told them, hey, you left a sheet here with bloody handprints on them.
We have pictures of it.
And they
said.
didn't want that.
No, they got pictures.
No,
They said.
They said they had pictures.
What about DNA? I don't know. I thought
DNA
that was, I
might
thought
be
that was a
important.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that, you know. Yeah, it was just crazy, man.
And they don't want
Then they take our phones.
the community to see
Yeah.
what a bad job they did,
Yeah.
basically.
Because we were told from day one, we were told the next morning, guys, do not say a word about this case. Don't go to the meet. Don't go to, because you know what? If it gets out and you don't want it on your head that you could ruin the case, and that's a bad thing. You don't want to ruin your daughter's case. You know,
Put it all on you.
exactly.
Yep.
Matter of fact, when they did close the case, Magrino says, he was just going to talk after a year and a half. I said, listen, man, his job, the job of his lawyer is to keep him far away from us as possible. She's not going to have him come in. Supposedly they subpoenaed him twice, and they said he had high anxiety that day and he could not make it.
What is going on around here? This is crazy.
That's what we were told. He's subpoenaed twice. Now me, if I was subpoenaed, I didn't go. You bet I'd be in jail.
No
you better
shit.
believe it. Absolutely.
It's not funny, but that is
No,
that
it's not
that
funny.
reaction,
This is
Jay.
blowing my mind. The more I
it's
look
just-
into this, it blows my mind.
It's ridiculous.
It really is.
It is. It's ridiculous.
No, it's like you can't even make this up. It's the craziest thing. And then I actually called, and I'll admit it. I'll call him up. But not that I threatened him, but I was like, you know what? I just want to remind you while you're at. It was like how they remind you while you're still here. Our daughter's gone. But then Magrino would say, he was just going to talk, but a family member had to go and talk. You know what I mean? I
Call
know,
him.
Yeah, and I know it wasn't closed. It was because they closed it because of the sheriff's. It has nothing to do with me. That little, but they made it. That now they kind of put it on your head. Like I said, you could put it on my head however you want it. But I think, how do you get subpoenaed twice and not go?
I just don't see the gain from law enforcement here treating you this way. What are they gaining by this? They just look like terrible.
I think they're sick.
What is going on?
That's what I'm saying. I think it's like they toy with you to. I mean, think about this. As a father, what do they want?
They're
me to
all
do?
fathers, probably.
That's
too.
what I'm saying.
They're
Yeah.
all. They should be
And
more
the thing is, if you
compassionate.
guys tell me the case is closed, you're not going to do anything about it. My daughter's gone. She's dead. I mean, what do you want me to do? Just say, hey guys, nice. It was great. I mean, it's like they put you in this position.
Those cops would be pissed if
They
we got
put you
treated
in
that
this
way.
position.
And they were in
man.
that position.
You know what I mean? And it's like
100.
How can they do that to someone? It's like the mind game is, and that's exactly what it is. They try to they. Like I said, I've never had anxiety. They strip you of who you are, man. And for the last 4 years, this family's so broken, and yeah, because of Ramon. But this department, let me tell you, man, is
Well,
Correct.
let me fill you in, you Jay, because I think you probably don't know as much about this county and the sheriff who runs their sheriff department, Al Ninheis, who has been the center of a lot of controversy over the years. He's been here since 2011, and again, he was appointed by Charlie Crist, the governor back in that days. Okay,
Governor
so he
Crist.
yes, Crist, and
I live in St. Pete, by the way.
yeah. So he was appointed. Then of course, once you're appointed, you're gonna be always reelected, right? So that's the problem with this guy is that first of all, one of the biggest issues in this county is no body cameras. And this has been something the entire county, probably 90% of the people in this county have pushed for. And I'm going on a tangent. I'm not going to make this about that.
No, but this would have been a good case for body
this would have
cameras
been
to see what was going on this whole
Absolutely.
time.
I mean, it helps the officers
Because you
and
see
it
how
helps the
many police
victims.
were here?
You know what I mean?
Yes.
There would have been a lot of body cameras.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
How many police were
How
here?
about the deputies who came into the room where your daughter was?
Exactly.
That would have been on body camera.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So again, that's one issue. He is at 100% against those. He does not like them, and the reason
Just goes
we can
to-
assume is because transparency, accountability.
Yeah, because something got screwed up here.
So you feel like the way they treated you, as far as your case, your daughter, like they didn't care. And yet, let me go back a little bit because we kind of got off on a tangent regarding some other issues. But the email that I sent on April 17th, after I found out that you guys wanted to come on the podcast and talk about this case, something occurred the next morning. What happened there? It's kind of interesting.
It is very interesting. I got a call from the Sergeant Ellis who took over our daughter's case, who I've called 3 weeks ago that I didn't get a call back from until that morning. And I found it really weird, but my wife says, give Tom a call, see what he thinks about this, because it was a little funny.
And we had no idea that you had
I
sent
had no
the email.
idea about this. I'm in the middle I said, Tom, is this funny? Whoa, stop where you're at. I think I know why. And he goes, I sent an email last night, and that's the reason why, because this guy was, hey, listen, want to start a relationship and, put a face with, I'm thinking to myself, I got another detective working on it.
And let you know what's going
let you
on
know
in
what's
the
going on in the
case.
case. Well, do you have anything new? Well, no, I will let you know. But it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't
That's what we
about.
call a red flag.
It was
Something's going on.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Out of the blue, it definitely was a red flag. But I'm glad I did call time because I was going to walk into that because they were either going to do one or two things: either kind of threaten you or either schmooze you, like, "Hey, buddy, we're on your side," which they're not. But I'm glad I did because it was only for their benefit, so they can back kind of it was for
say,
them.
"Oh, we called them. Oh, we called them. We had an email."
Or let's say, "Hey, listen, I want to let you know we're on you," because
Correct.
coming back, if you're doing the interview with you, want to make sure, hey, you know what, they're not so bad. The guy called, he's real nice.
Yeah, they got some sort of
no, but
something
the
on
motive
record
was
that they contacted you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
the motive
yeah.
was all because of the email. It had nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with anything.
And how does that make you feel that the fact that the only reason they contacted you is because this reporter contacted them to just send me over some more information to update whatever? They knew you were going to come on my show, and I think they wanted to soften you up.
That's exactly
Absolutely.
right. They didn't want to say anything bad or anything. But you know what?
You're just stating the facts here, though. That's what's
exactly.
good.
And I'm not. This is the facts, and I'm not even. It doesn't even surprise me anymore because this is them. This is like there's no. And I'm sorry for the other officers that are good officers up, but these guys, man, are it's out of control, and it doesn't surprise me anymore. The worst you can think is they've done it and been there, man. It's horrible. It's horrible. But yeah, but that's the only reason why.
Wasn't there another case, Tom, that you were talking about?
Oh,
too?
yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was, and this is what, again, there's probably dozens like this, but it's just funny. And I mentioned this in my prelude video that whenever Sheriff Ninheis, anytime a homicide happens in the county, something really major, a major case, that the sheriff goes out, he gets on camera, he talks about it, he sends media releases out to the media, so he can give you some information, which is very limited, by the way. But he does go out and makes a speech about, he talks about the case. Not this time. No, I'm sorry. Not in your case, but in a case recently, this is the comparison you're talking about. Just recently, I think it was earlier this month, a beautiful young girl, and I can't think, her name's Abby. I can't think of her last name right now. I don't have it in front of me. Matter of fact, wait a minute, I do. Hold on. A young girl was murdered out in the eastern part of the county.
16-year-old. This
Ridge
is all
Manor.
over. This is all over.
All
I
over.
can see this everywhere.
Yes.
16-year-old girl. Go ahead.
16-year-old girl murdered and left in the middle of the woods out in Ridge Manor. The suspect, the person that took her life allegedly, was arrested within a couple of days. I mean, they went right to, it was an ex-boyfriend, right? It's a very similar situation. She was stabbed to death, according to officials. And they arrested him. They arrested this guy.
Yeah, real quick. It's all over the news.
Yes, and she's going to be tried as an adult. So that has just got to piss you off. I mean, I excuse my language, but that has got to piss you off.
It does because, like I said,
Now I'm sorry for the family. Let me back up for a second. I'm sorry for the family and their loss, and I hope that justice is served. But this has got to be what a contradiction, and I want to hear what you have
That's what I'm
to
saying.
feel about
Something's
this.
fishy about this case because that's normally how it would go.
This is you would think that because the person that did stab our daughter admits that he did it. That's why I don't. You can't get any more evidence than that. You know what I mean? Like he comes out of the horse's mouth, man. He said, "I can't believe I did something so gruesome and violent. I can't. What penitentiary? I mean, it goes on and on and on and on, and still, like I said, you can't pull any more evidence. But yeah, it was kind of like a kick in the face. It really was. It was a kick in the face.
So let me ask you guys, where do we see this going? What are your goals here in the future? What do we need to do in the future here? Where are we at moving forward?
Moving forward,
We want justice.
first off, we want justice for
We
Ariana.
want people to be held, the sheriff's office to be held accountable.
And after everything that they put us through, and they still are putting us through, I think like Ramon's got to pay, they got to pay. Just because they're whatever does not mean that they can do what they want to other people. And I don't like bullies, and they were bullies on a big level, and I cannot stand that. And they got to pay too, just like Ramon does. They had a hand. I believe that they had a hand in our daughter's death too. Yeah, Ramon stabbed her, but you know what? Not one officer, 10, 12 officers, not one rendered aid to her. They saw she had a pulse.
Yeah, do you feel that time frame when they didn't come in here and you were trying to put like direct pressure
direct
on her
pressure.
neck?
Yes.
Okay, because that's usually the thing to do.
Absolutely.
Yes, talk about that.
Okay,
You're right. You brought
direct
that up.
pressure
That's
is
an
the only thing,
important
but an
part.
EMT can come in and do a lot of different stuff. She's not a trained EMT, but that's the
Right.
the way to stop a.
I'm sorry to go back, but I
No,
want to
that's
hear
how
about
you do
that.
it.
But people need to know that.
Yeah,
So
it's-
direct
it's-
pressure, but you can't do it for 15 minutes. You need to get it,
Right.
I mean, do
especially
something.
not someone that's trained.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
had her.
Exactly.
They had her in our bedroom with the door shut.
Fighting for her life because they
Fighting
saw she had
for
a
her
pulse.
life.
But anyway, yeah, they saw she had a pulse. And,
Yeah, she wasn't DOA when they came.
No.
in, so I mean that's
No,
that's
it's-
probably the issue.
It's actually documented.
Something was
in-
messed up maybe in that
Yeah.
course, that
And
transaction.
don't get me wrong.
From
They
giving
say
her the-
our dog was in the room.
Our Rottweiler.
But you know what though? We love our dog. We love our dog to death. But you know what? When it comes
But
to
shoot the
our
dog.
daughter, you do whatever you have to do to save a life.
You shoot
That's
the dogs.
what you
Shoot
have
the dog
to do,
and
man.
take care of our daughter.
Yeah, and
But they had the door closed
And they're
because
laughing.
he was
Everyone's in here laughing.
He was sitting. The dog was sitting by
right next to her.
Ariana.
Yeah.
And
They say they dragged her out. And they say they dragged her out of the room, and that they were attending to her, but they weren't.
But they weren't.
Because when the medics came in, she was still in the same room, and nobody was attending to her. So it's like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, I don't. Get
anyway,
it. All right.
they just and they
Lie
I
after lie.
believe that they
Human
got to pay.
nature to go help somebody like that. I'd do it. I'd screw the dog.
You know, not only that, but I mean, what do you guys do to the person if you see somebody laying on the ground?
Yeah,
This is your job. Your job is for the citizens of Hernando County. You're supposed to be to protect and to serve. And there's one thing.
maybe all the newbies
it's
were on
all-
that night.
it's all-
because it was Christmas
But
Eve.
that's still not an excuse.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
still-
it's not an
It's not.
excuse.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. Maybe
yeah.
because Christmas, all the higher level cops. That's not a
Absolutely.
time that the big shots want to be working.
Because
like
you know
this.
what? They were all young kids, right?
Yeah, were
They were all younger.
Yeah, they maybe could have been traumatized. Look
Yeah.
at themselves like, I ain't going in there.
Yeah,
I ain't going in there.
exactly
I ain't
right.
going in there. You go in there. There's a dog. I ain't
But you
doing
know,
that.
my thing is let my wife or whatever. Don't leave her or let me.
I mean,
we should.
So
be
is that
locked
an
up.
excuse?
No,
Is that
no,
an
but,
excuse?
No,
that's a
six.
good point
Yeah.
because I'm still trying to wrap my brain around this.
Very good point, Jay.
No,
Very good point.
No, yeah.
I don't want to say something though. I got to say something though because I don't want. Listen, in the years and years, and again, I've been attacked by this sheriff's office for exposing certain things. But I want to say this though. I want to make sure that people know that I am not, and our show and you, I'm sure, and I know that Ptarcinskis are not anti-law enforcement.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
We believe that. And I want to say, at least on my behalf, that we believe that the majority of law enforcement officers are good, honorable people who do their job because they like it. They wanted to do this because they want to help people,
Absolutely.
right? But there's
There's no way this is case closed. There's no
this case
way.
this is an F up.
We need to figure this out.
This is somebody screwed up and they don't want to be held responsible
all
or
the officers that were here that night,
Yeah.
they all screwed up.
I mean, they came in here. They came in here like young bucks, man. They came in here like I had 4 cops on me with an AR-15 in my head, like, and these guys came in here like stormtroopers, you know. And I understand you don't know what's going on in the situation, but after a couple minutes, man, guys, you know, and don't leave a family when something like this just happened.
Yeah, that situation could have been resolved after they
Absolute-
figured it out.
No,
It seems like it just keeps. It's still
You know, even
going
our
to this
daughter-
day.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
what
still,
the
that's what I'm
heck?
saying. They still
And
put us-
you're a good guy. You don't seem like you'd be that mad. Like, let's get justice. Don't worry about all the other stuff that happened. Let's just get
like I said,
justice for my daughter.
exactly.
But I don't know. I don't understand why they don't understand that.
like-
You're a
and like
reasonable
this-
person.
And the same thing is true. Like I even told Crevin, I said, you know, this all. If you were just kept in contact, you guys didn't do that, and then we tried to, keep in contact with you guys. It was our fault, or it was your problem. We don't have to talk to you. We don't have to talk to you. We don't have to give you any information. I'm the father, man. I'm the father. I'm sorry everything that happened actually, and I haven't even still been questioned.
Okay, I want to take a second, and I'm going to give each of you like a minute or something, or however much time you want. But I want to hear from both of you. Moving forward, what can the community do? What do you want to tell people in your community here in Hernando County or across the state or the country about your daughter's case? What should they hear about what's going on, and what can they do for you?
I mean, just get her story out there. Like I said, I'm not here to bash law enforcement. I'm not here to bash anybody. And you know, it's crazy because when you see it on TV, you're like, oh, that guy probably deserved it. Oh, yeah, he's probably a bad guy. But when you're in it and you don't do it, and you really need, and you're on that side, it's a whole nother ball game, man. Especially when you like, I'll give somebody the shirt off my back. I will help anybody, and I still to this day will help anybody. And like I said, Hernando County has a track record. I think that it needs to get out there because I think the higher ups, whoever they are, because you can't get an answer from that either, need to crack down on these guys because this is out of control. This is out of control. It really is, and families are being destroyed because of this. And we're one of them. And to this day, we're still being destroyed. Our daughter's gone. We need justice for our daughter, and we need somebody to crack the whip on these guys. I don't know, but somebody needs to do something, and it just needs to be done fast because it's just going downhill.
Ramon
downhill.
needs to pay
He needs
for
to
his
pay.
crime.
Absolutely.
There you go.
And
Judy, tell us what you what you
Ramon
feel.
needs to pay for his crime. The police officers need to be held accountable. We need everyone to just keep spreading her story.
Yeah.
We need it to go national. We needed it to.
We really do.
I
We
think
to
you
keep
guys
it
need
alive.
answers because to
That-
me,
that's-
there's a
Absolutely.
million questions
And,
here
and,
that
you,
I
and
have.
you don't get an answer.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing. You don't
That's-
get an answer to anything.
They push you off.
Yeah.
It's like you go. And I said to my wife, I said a couple weeks ago, I said, this is it? Like, am I going to be angry for the rest? Like,
We
this
don't.
is
Yeah,
it?
we
There's
don't
no
know where to
closure.
go.
There's
have-
no
There is no
closure.
I
closure.
have
That's
so
the
much
problem.
anger and I have so much like it's like
Resentment.
is this it? This is life. This is my like.
This is how it's gonna end.
And even though you
Right.
say to yourself, oh, life goes. I understand life goes on, but it can't go on when you're dragging all this luggage with you, man. Like,
So what's good about murder cases is there's no
There's no statute of limitations,
Yeah,
right?
statutes.
But they're going to drag this out
Don't
forever.
matter.
They're
Whatever,
going
we're
to
gonna help-
pretend like it's
we're
a
gonna
forever.
tighten this up.
Okay, so I just want to say again, I want to say thank you to Judy and Eddie. I've known them quite a while, and they've actually become kind of friends with me. I like them. I like them a lot, and we've gotten really close to them. They're good people, and they don't deserve this. They deserve justice for their daughter.
Absolutely.
This beautiful girl was about to start her life, and you know, her journey into her career and to education, whatever she wanted, and for some reason this department, and again, I am not going to point fingers at any certain person. I'm not even pointing fingers at her at Al Ninheis, right? What I'm saying is somebody messed up, and why don't they take responsibility for it? Why don't they say, "Hey, look, we messed up. We're going to make sure that we don't do this again. We're gonna do what we can to help the family, right? And we're gonna do better, you know." And so I hope that even with our podcast here, with our show, that it's something else is done. And I want to plead out to Sheriff Al Ninheis, do something for this family. Don't hide, because they need justice for Ariana. Well, that's it for today. And I want to thank Judy and Eddie.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank
Sorry
you.
for your loss, guys. This was good.
Thank you.
Good guys, okay?
Thank you very
You're
much.
good people.
And we'll see you next week on Get Real.
Happy birthday, dear Ariana. Happy birthday.